What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Urban Botanist channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Emma and I am the Urban Botanist. And on this channel, we like to talk about all things that are green, growing, terrariums, fungi, nature, and beyond. In today's video, I am going to be showing you how I revamp old, dying, and sort of tired out terrariums. So you can see I have two beautiful lamp terrariums here from a customer who bought these from me probably 3 years ago now. Most sealed terrariums do need little to no maintenance. However, if you're not keeping an eye on humidity, moisture, mold, and any other sort of red flags inside of your terrarium, it can end up killing everything inside and looking like this. So I'm going to show you some of the techniques and tools that I use, as well as just kind of walk you through how to revamp your own terrarium at home should it be looking like maybe the moss is dying, maybe the plants are dying, maybe you're seeing mold, maybe you're seeing insects or webbing, or maybe just your plants are dead and the whole thing is just gone. I want this video to teach you how easy it can be. It's not something that you need to be intimidated by, and as long as you have a few tools, it is super easy. So let's get into it. My guess is that these terrariums were never opened, which is fine, unless of course everything is suffering inside, which this one, it really is. So the first thing that I'm gonna focus on doing is removing everything that's dead, dying, diseased, has mold on it, or is just completely and totally unusable, while saving any elements that are reusable. Big stones, nice pieces of wood, any living plants. In this case, there's none. And I'm also going to do a nice little soil refresh. Some of the equipment that I have here is a water bottle for kind of spraying down the sides. I've got a whole bunch of paper towel to really wipe the inside of the terrarium down. I've got some of these handmade tools. This is literally a barbecue skewer with a cork on top. This is another barbecue skewer with a spoon taped to it. Like, terrarium tools truly are like totally innovative, and you kind of just make what you need. Something that I didn't make are these really great big huge tongs. They work really well for kind of reaching into those hard to reach spots. And I have some scissors here. I also have two kind of like pans. I'm gonna use one for waste or compost and the other one for keeping anything that I want to reuse when I put this terrarium back together. I'm also gonna wear a pair of gloves just for pulling out some of those ickier bits. Like this piece of moss, sadly, completely done. This, I believe, was a pitcher plant, which is too bad it didn't last in there. So because this whole top layer has a little bit of like spores, a little bit of mold, a little bit of mildew happening, I'm just gonna scoop the whole top layer off and discard of it and replace it with new fresh soil. There's a couple really nice polished rocks in here that I am gonna hold on to and save for later. Now that I've removed a lot of the dead and dying bits, pieces that are covered in mold, anything that looks like it just isn't going to do any justice to the future terrarium, I've pulled all of those elements out. I'm going to start to clean the inside of the glassware before I start to rebuild the piece. For that, I'm going to use this water shooter thingy. And what I'm doing is just kind of like shooting fresh distilled water all along the sides of the glassware, just to kind of help move some of that dirt down to the bottom of the terrarium. And then I'm gonna go in with a piece of paper towel and just wipe all the sides off, pulling off any existing mold or residue, dead plant material off of the sides of the terrarium. Sometimes a good terrarium clean is really all you need, and it truly is as simple as taking paper towel, moistening it with some water, and going in and giving it a wipe. You really never want to use any chemicals whenever you're making a sealed terrarium, Because of course this is a closed system, by putting any sort of chemicals, using Windex or any kind of cleaner like that is going to have a negative impact on the ecosystem inside of your terrarium. You can see even just by cleaning this terrarium out, it already looks so much better. Now, because I really want to ensure that this terrarium stays clean and healthy, I'm going to add a really generous layer of activated charcoal. Activated charcoal acts as a natural cleaning agent. It helps to remove excess moisture, odor, and bacteria from your terrarium. All of these ingredients do come included in our DIY terrarium kits, which look exactly like this terrarium here, except it's not a lamp. I'm just gonna add some charcoal, kind of just mixing it into that top soil layer. Next, I'm gonna add a little bit of extra soil just to top up the existing soil inside of the terrarium. Okay, now I'm going to take some of the plants that I intend on using. Some of the plants that I'm going to be using is this living sheet moss, a little bit of variegated Ficus benjamina, some green and white Phytonias, and a touch of this really pretty small-leafed ivy. Using my sort of barbecue skewer spoon, I'm gonna kind of just mix my soil around that I just previously added and kind of start to dig a hole so that I can place the roots of these plants inside of the terrarium and anchor them with ease. I'm going to start out with the Phytonia first. I usually like working with the larger plants first, giving me more space to add the smaller plants around it. I'm also really making sure that I completely cover any exposed roots so that the plant is able to anchor and root into its new home with ease. Wow, I cannot believe how long the roots are on this Benjamina ficus. Definitely gonna have to make some room for these roots. You can see it's really starting to come together. I re-added that piece of wood. I really like adding tall organic materials to kind of add to the texture, depth, and dimension of a terrarium. And that little piece of wood just adds a really nice little bit of height to the design. I really like working with a natural sand and a natural gravel, so I'm going to add a little bit of both of these as sort of my finishing touch to the terrarium. And whenever I'm working with a material that's a really fine sand or a really small stone, I definitely like to use a funnel. I picked this funnel up from like the automotive section at Walmart, and it's literally perfect. You have so much control, it's got a really long nose, so really terrarium tools don't have to be anything all that fancy or all that creative. A lot of them you may already have at home or are easy enough to pick up at your local department store. Do keep in mind that a lot of these tools are included in our Urban Botanist DIY kits, but funnels are not included. All of the sand, gravel, charcoal, soil is all included in your DIY terrarium kits. So when I'm adding this really fine sand, I like to add it slowly. Whenever you are working with a terrarium, you want to add your materials all really slowly, because the slower you add, the more control you have. And it's always easier to add more materials than it is to take out too many or too much of a material that you accidentally added. Contrast of using a light colored sand, because it really creates a nice, beautiful color change between the soil and the sand. So now I'm going to go around and just kind of pack the soil down to kind of create a nice, smooth and flat line. Now, because I want to add a little bit more texture and dimension to the design, I'm going to add this nice, light, small stone pebble. You want to make sure that if you are layering materials that you are putting the smallest stone or the smallest grain down first, because if I were to add the sand on top of this gravel, it's all going to sink in between the cracks. So make sure that you're having the higher or the larger scale stone be at the higher level in your terrarium. Now, any spots inside your terrarium where there might be like dirt or debris that's kind of sticking to the side of the glassware, you can either use a paintbrush, which is included in our DIY terrarium kits, or you can use one of these sort of flow nozzled water bottles to kind of just shoot that water down along the side of the glassware and pushing that debris down to the bottom of your terrarium. I'm also using this water to kind of brush off any sand that's gotten stuck to the leaves of the plants. You can also do this using a paintbrush. Okay, well, this one's looking pretty good. I'm gonna put it aside for now and start working on the second terrarium. Okay, now this terrarium kind of needs a little bit of a different maintenance check on it. For starters, it still has living plants inside, so I'm definitely going to try and salvage and save all of the living plants inside this terrarium. Another thing that you'll notice on this guy that's different from the other one is there's quite a bit of algae and green growth that's happening in the soil layer. So I'm going to remove that soil, clean out the algae, and then replace it with new fresh soil. The reason why I'm doing that is more for aesthetic purposes. There's really not all that much of an issue with green growing there. It could lead to moisture buildup, it could lead to bacteria buildup, so I'm just going to give it a good deep clean. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing with this terrarium, adding my larger plants. I typically like to build up the back of the terrarium to have more height, and then the front of the terrarium to have some of those more lower ground creeping plants like the small leafed ivy and even the Ficus benjamina. I really like using Phoetonias in sealed terrariums. I just find that they never miss. They're not picky. They always thrive. They grow really well too, and they're easy to just pop the top off and give a little bit of a haircut if they start growing too tall inside of your terrarium. Soil. I really love this natural piece of wood. I'm going to add this onto the base of the terrarium just so I know how much more surface area I have to work with when I start adding my plants. This is that really tiny leafed ivy, which is so cute and kind of like acts as a ground grower and just creeps along the bottom of your terrarium. So it doesn't really give you the height, but it adds a really nice texture and sort of a nice little green color to the base of your terrarium. Again, just doing my best to really place those roots down into the soil so that they can anchor themselves and root with ease. Don't think I forgot about this little baby piece of pole moss. I think he can be saved, so I'm just going to place him in a nice little spot, front and center, so that he can show off his beautiful texture. Now for this terrarium, because there is a lot going on, I think I'm only going to add this larger gravel. That way the sand isn't falling on top of the stones, falling on top of these smaller leaved plants, and ultimately just ending up with a much cleaner and more finished, pristine look. almost using my tweezers to just sort of gently lift and pull this little tiny baby ivy, just so that the leaves are not trapped underneath these gravel pieces here. I'll also use my tweezers just to kind of remove any small stones that are not falling quite where I want them to, and any other small minor adjustments that I need to make. Well, safe to say I'm really happy with how both of these terrarium refreshes turned out. These two pieces are just so completely and totally unique, and it's a really good testament for why you need to get outside and thrift for your glassware. Not saying that these were thrifted. My customer actually bought these lamps and brought them to me. But going out and seeing what different types of unique glassware is out there, maybe you find yourself a cool lamp that can be turned into a terrarium, or maybe you also find a really cool vintage piece of glassware that would look really cool with a tiny ecosystem growing inside. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we will see you in the next video.